welcome back. And joining me as we wrap up the day's markets action is David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities. Thank you so much for your time, David. I don't know if it's if investors are in what kind of mood you guys are in today, because it really is a bloodbath, a continuation from the end of last week. Is the panic warranted?
I don't know. I think everybody's panicking, but if you talk to different people, they're not quite sure what they're panicking about.
Yeah.
Is it because of the AI spend? Is it because of Japan, recession fears? No one's quite sure, but it's a good panic. And I think just looking at the market at the moment, it is coming off its worst levels. So I think, the recessionary fears, we were nervous on Friday when the job numbers came out, but just reading over the weekend and trying to get a perspective, there's very little chance of a recession in the United States. It's 25%, which means there's 75% of no recession. So without brushing it aside, there are worries in the market. But I think today's panic or today's move is really related to Asia and to the unwinding of this carry trade in Japan. Just very briefly, what happened is when rates were very low in Japan, a lot of speculators, traders went and borrowed money very cheaply there and then used the money to go into other areas like Europe, into the US, where yields and returns were a lot higher. And now with Japan raising rates, that's kind of reversed everything because the yen has improved dramatically from, $1. So I think that's when a market panics and when people are caught on the wrong side, they have to undo things. So that's what created these exceptional moves today. But I think they'll play themselves out.
Yeah, it's been quite interesting because I think even this year, the yen reached levels of 163 against the US dollar. Now we're seeing it just over 143. So it's just drastic moves that we're seeing over there. Well, David, let's go into some of the company news that came out of the JSE. Telcom, actually, they're backing the trend in terms of the red screens that we're seeing there on the JSE. It actually did have quite a positive reaction from investors. First quarter trading update, seeming that there's a better performance there. Quite a pleasing tone. Revenue up 3.9%. Core profit climbing double digits. Is Telcom finally on a sustainable growth path?
I hope so. There are a lot of numbers to go through there if you want to go through all of them and try and understand what it means. I still think there's a little bit of the legacy issues that drag them down. I was looking at the chart, when the results came out, I thought, okay, this is a pretty good number. And if you look at the charts, they're still pointing in the wrong direction. So I thought, what's holding people back? Why don't they like it? If you get such encouraging numbers. I think we've got to wait until we get proper financials to understand what's happening and how they're performing. But credit to management. Things have turned around and pointing in the right direction. They're making a play. I know they're much smaller than MTN and Vodacom, but at least they are grabbing some share.
Well, actually quite surprising to me that you talk about the fact that the share is going in the wrong direction, because earlier on it was actually up more than 2%, but now seeing that it ended off the day down more than 2%. Well, let's go into MTN, another telecoms counter. It did release results out of Uganda, and we saw a lot of double-digit growth there from revenue to core profit, but the share price still stuck in the red. I don't know if it was just caught in the firing line because of the global sell-off.
No, I think this is all Nigeria. Until they're able to turn Nigeria around, Nigeria under a lot of pressure, the currency. So whatever they earn there, they have to convert back into rand or dollars. And we saw last week, what it's costing them. And if you look at the share price, if you look at the chart, I don't know if you're showing it there. It's just tragic. It's just, if you take a long-term chart, this is just winding its way down. And it's such a good business with such a good name in Africa, but they can't, Africa's made up, I don't know, Sub-Sahara is made up how many different countries. Everyone's got a different currency, different rules. It's tough. And that's where their main money is. They're bigger there. Well, I don't know anymore with the Naira where it is, but it was always the substantial part of their businesses. But we're still waiting patiently for a turnaround.
David, I actually don't know how much time we have. Let's actually start off with your stock pick. Okay, no, actually, before we get to your stock pick, I think we have about a minute before that. Impact came out with interim results today. Also a red day for the share price. No surprise there. We did have a slide in the top line down to bottom line, but the company still declared an interim dividend. What did you make of that performance?
Well, they're under pressure. I think what I picked up, volumes are down. That always concerns me when they're selling less this year than they did last year or in the comparative period. Even though and revenue as well. So I think it's tough, and it's not their fault. There's nothing happening in the economy. You can't force people to go out and buy. So they're battling as best as they can in very difficult circumstances. We need massive growth here to get, to help our businesses turn around.
Yeah.
So I don't, there's nothing we can do, and we just got to get through it, and they have to just keep monitoring, doing what they can.
Yeah, well, they seem cautiously optimistic, so hopefully things will get better there. Well, let's get to
That's a nice way. It's a nice way of saying things. Cautiously optimistic.
Yes. Well, let's get to what you're optimistic about, your stock pick.
You know what, to be honest, when Sonata asked me for a stock pick, I said, oh, no, please, not in this round. But to be honest, I think we're getting to a level in markets, which would include South African Global, where you're going to have lots of opportunity. When I look at the Apples and the Microsofts and Nvidias, all of those have come down dramatically. The results are superb, and I think you're going to have very soon a very good time, choice to get back into the market, especially Nvidia now down at 100.
Yeah.
So just be aware. I don't want to say go out and do it now, but we're coming to that period where we're looking to get back into the market.
All right. Well, let me go get a loan and then maybe see if I can nibble on Nvidia. Thank you so much for your time, David. That was David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities.